Welcome, everyone. It's Friday, and that means it is time for Muppin's Sewing Emporium. How are you doing today? I hope you are wonderfully well. I am Cheryl Muppin Whited. How are you doing? I'm very excited. It is a very, very good day. We were on the news this past week. We were on Channel 6, which is WPSD here in Paducah, Kentucky. They asked me, hey, do you want to be on part of a news article about Quilt Week? And I said, sure. And they said, great, we'll be there at 11:30. And I'm like, that's an hour from now. So it was wild. We have been doing all kinds of stuff for the show. Yay! You saw me on the news. Thank you, thank you. I know, I appreciate it. It's been kind of a wild 24 hours. They came in and said, hey, we want to be on the show. And I was like, sure. So we've got a sale going on with Make Room 15. Okay, so we've got a sale right now. It is only online and it is only until midnight tonight. We are doing 15% off everything in our shop with Make Room 15. So the Make Room, we have 21 bolts of Tula Pink's new fabric line coming in, and that we need to make room for. So as you know, our shop is only about 600 square feet. It's little. So we need to make some room, and you can help us do that. And you can also come and see some of the new things in store starting tomorrow morning. So we need some space. We need some bolts cleared out. You can be what we call a bolt killer and finish off a bolt or two of fabric. That would be really super keen. We've got that sale going on. You're going to need to use this coupon code at the checkout. It's Make Room 15, and that's going to get you 15% off on our website. Now, as you know, we have been working on ruching. We've been ruching and the ruching flowers, they're done. I'm trying to get it to focus. My goodness. There we go. So we've got several of the flowers made, and now I need to apply them onto this panel. Now, as you know, we are making a tuffet out of all of these panels, and we have several panels already finished. We have these all ready to go, and we're just now finishing up we have two left, this one and one more. And the last one, the last one I'm a little undecided about, because I had in my mind what I was supposed to be doing. And now I don't know what I want to do. And so perhaps you can be part of this decision-making process. And don't forget, as this little scrolly thing goes by, this special Make Room 15 is only good today, the 12th of April. Okay, so it expires tonight. So if there's anything you have wanted to buy and you want that discount, tonight's the night to do that, because tomorrow that discount shall not apply. All the new stuff is coming in, and I'm very excited. And so let's show this panel. Okay, so here it is. And so as you can see, this is from tuffetsource.com. They gave me the tuffet to work on. Now, this is really sad. They gave it to me pre-pandemic. That's how long I've had this tuffet panel to work on. And as you can see, I'm using one of my friction pens to put these lines on here. These friction pens, these erase with heat. So if you order, you can order these friction pens from our website. And if you want these lines to go away, all you have to do is iron over them and they will be gone. Now, that said, okay, these friction pens were never designed for fabric use. They were only ever designed for like people who write and then make mistakes, and then they could use this little eraser cap, right? And the eraser cap creates heat enough to make the lines go away. So when people like us are using them on our fabric, okay, it is putting the pigment into the fibers, and the only way for that to fully be removed is for you to launder it. Okay, so I like to put those lines down on places where there will not be any any possibility for it to re-emerge. Okay, so now that we know how big the tuffet section is, okay, and the other thing is we've marked here the 2 dots that are on this tuffet. Okay, this is the side of the tuffet. This is just the side panel of the tuffet. So this is sort of like the top, and then this over here is the side. This over here is where it tucks under, and we don't really worry about that part. Okay, so we don't put much down that way. All right, and so I have already sewn all of the different ruching pieces to like into the rosettes. And here's the one we were working on last week. And you can see the difference here in the rosettes and how they look. And I think that's just kind of cool. All right. And so, oh, that's upside down. No, wait, that is right side up. All right. So there we go. So now is the time when I need to place these and then applique them onto the background here. So what I need to do is to just figure out which ones I want to be where. And the the very top of this tuffet, as you can see, like everything sort of comes to a point here, which one of these is going to be uh basically coming out of that top like so. And so we want that to be about as centered as possible. And then we need to make sure there's enough room for the seam allowances. As you can see, there's 3/4 inch seam allowances here. So I'm just going to need to scooch this down a bit because I don't want this motif to get stuck in the seam allowance. Okay, so this is already I've already taken my fabric, and as you can see, what I did was I just matched up hills and valleys, and then I took a needle and thread and just tacked them down to itself. And now we're going to be doing a little bit of applique to keep this uh, onto the background here. So I've got a couple pins here, and I'm just going to pin this one into place. Okay. Now it is a little distorted from the pin, but once this is applied down, it shouldn't be distorted like this. It's going to be fairly flat, and that's what we're looking for. Okay. But the pin is sort of pulling it. As you can see, there's like that little bit of wrinkling. When this is perfectly applied, it's going to be just fine. All right. And so then it's a matter of deciding like which ones of these do I want to go where sort of next. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I wanted them to go like this. And then this one to go this way, I think. Right? And so I know this is a very unusual, like, sort of arrangement, but you'll have to bear with me here because it's got a lot. I have a lot going on here. All right. Because what I wanted to do was to highlight the different stem structures, but also highlight how they make different rosettes. So it's a little bit of a sampler in that regard, which is kind of cool. And yeah, I really like this. I really, really, really like this. Okay, so I think that's the arrangement, and we do want to make sure that this one is not that close to the edge. Whoo, boy, that yellow just blew right out, didn't it, with the camera there? Let's get it to focus back in and be a little more normal. There we go. Jerry says, just throw them in the air and put them on where they land. That isn't to say that I haven't thought about doing that, but the other ones are so structured. And then the other ones that are sort of like wild, they're just kind of wild, right? So like that is very, very wild, sort of random, little all over the place. This one, I kind of don't want. I don't know if I want it to be that random. Anyway, all right. So that means we've got to pin into place. And again, we've got to stay away from the edge. We don't want that to be too close. And we sort of want these to be a bit lined up like that. So I feel like this is a good placement. And now it will just be a matter of sewing these down. And I need to, I've got like a whole thing of pins over here. And I have to tell you, I love these pin grabbers because I get to a point where I have like everything all over the place and the pins are all over the table, and I just swipe this over and it just gathers them all up. I love that. All right, so we've got to pin these into place, and then we can start appliquing. And I'm just starting with the big rosettes first, and then I will I'm going to pin the stem into place as well, because I don't want any of that to move around while I'm getting ready to sew this down, right? Because they'll get in the way. Now, if you can see here, it's like bubbled. Don't worry, it'll all flatten out when I get ready to start doing the applique. And the last one to do is this one. And I'm just trying to keep these stems somewhat straight because when this goes onto the onto the tuffet, I'm going to want to make sure that that stays, that it looks right. Okay. So, all right. So that's the panel right there. Looks like it's in a pretty good spot. And again, you can see like this one is kind of like bubbling upwards. We can always take a stitch or two in the middle to kind of attach it down to the base fabric, which I may do. Because again, this is supposed to be a tuffet. Now, I have been saying to a lot of people, I don't think I'll ever put my feet on this tuffet. It'll be too lovely for me to want to put my feet on. So it will have too much work in it for me to put my shoes on it, or even my socks. I don't think I would want to do that. All right, so now in true applique form, if you've never appliqued before, we of course found the most unusual shape to do these applique stitches with, but you know that it wouldn't be me unless I had a very unusual shape with which to applique. So we have to, in some cases, like zhuzh a little bit. That is the technical term. I am calling it zhuzhing. That's what we're doing here, and that is to take the peaks that we've formed and sort of make sure that they are on the outside. So let's get in there. And for those of you that know me, I'm going to apologize for this state of my nails today. We have been putting up new fixtures in the store today. And so I didn't want to do my nails because I figured I would just end up breaking all of them. Uh, so yeah, that's where we are with the nail situation. Um, so as you can see, I'm just sort of taking my finger and I'm sort of pulling out the petal so that it's in its most curved shape. And my stitches are not terribly close together. Now you can do these stitches a couple of different ways. You can choose to tack stitches just down the middle of your ruching and then leave these sort of free to stick up if you like. That's one way of doing it. Or you can do as I'm doing here and very securely attaching each of these rounded edges to the background. And because this is a piece of furniture, I'm a little concerned that this might look, that I do want it to be more attached. And so you can see there, I have just the tiniest little stitches that are attaching this. They're not terribly close together. I want to say they're about an eighth of an inch apart. Those of you who are hardcore applique fanatics are probably thinking that my stitches are very far apart. I have seen some master applique folks who sew with much closer and tinier stitches. Um, I like to say that done is better than perfect. And that's been my sort of my motto for a really long time. You know, as someone who does a lot, and I mean a lot, of heirloom sewing. Um, I don't think I've ever had someone, not once, ever say, "Oh my god, your stitches are so terrible." Like, they're never looking at that, okay? And if your friends are looking at that and saying that to you, you need new friends, okay? You do this thing that I have always said, and you just say, "I unfriend you." Just like that. I unfriend you because that person isn't your friend if they're gonna point out flaws in your work. Now, that's not to say if you're part of a critique group or something, where people are supposed to do that. I mean, I guess that's different, but honestly, everyone's just more looking at the beauty of the stuff and not looking at all of the things, right? So there. Um that said, uh okay, so I have one panel left to do after this one. Okay, we've been kind of talking about that. How many of these panels are there? There's a total of 8. And this one here is number 7. And I am really stuck on what number 8 should be. And um I'll give you a couple of ideas. Mary says if your friends say this, then you need new friends. This is gorgeous. I do appreciate that. You have to understand too, like these pieces, it's it's about it. A lot of it is about the journey, okay, and not like freaking out over how perfect all of your little scrunchy munchies are, as I like to call them. It's more about like learning the technique. Did you enjoy the technique? Did you learn something along the way? It's like the friends we made along the way. Right? Is it more about that, or is it about uh you know that it wasn't as perfect as you thought it could be? And I mean, look, everybody has to give themselves a lot of grace and learn. Okay? You don't come out of the womb popped out, fully formed, knowing how to do this stuff, right? And everybody's first quilt looks like, not great, or they know what's wrong with it. They're like, "Oh, I'm going to point out all the flaws with my quilt that I just made because this is what's wrong with it, and this is wrong, and that is wrong, and this is wrong, and that is wrong." And the thing is we do that because we know what good quilts look like, and we know that our skills have not come up to where that comes. And like, if the only remedy for your work disappointing you is more work. The only remedy is to continue to learn and to continue to try, because the more you try, the more you learn, the better you get at it. And that's how, master quilters become the masters, right? I mean, like Tiger Woods didn't know how to swing a golf club. Mary says the minute someone nitpicking is when they may discourage a person, and no one needs that. I agree, because somebody may be like, "Wow, she really tore my project apart, and I'll never do this again." And I know people who have been sort of, um, I mean, in a way, it's bullying, right? It's bullying someone to a point where they don't want to do it anymore. And we should be encouraging quilters to work, not tearing them down. And so that's how I look at it. Now, so the next panel, I have a couple of options. Option 1 is to do a series of tabs. And I'll pull where's the back? Where's the other piece? Oh, I put it to the side and there it is. Okay. So here's what we can do for the next one. Okay, so here's the panel. And what I can do is I can do it as these individual tabs. And let me mock it up and you'll understand. So oh, did my phone just die? I tell ya, it is the Wi-Fi network, apparently. Let's make that happen again. Huh. It's always something. I gotta tell you, I always say it's fun and games until the technology stops. So there we are. Okay. Yes, we're on the same network now. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. I tell you, good old technology. All right, let's see if we can get this party started. Anyway, like I was saying, so I have an option to do these individual tabs. They're almost like a U shape. Okay. And that that's one option. I'm just going to make sure that we're still filming because you never know, it might have been a whole thing. Oh yeah, we are. Okay. So we're still live. Oh my gosh. All right. Um we just don't have the extra video. Let's see if we can get this to wake up again now. I think my phone just disconnected from the network. There we go. That's all it needed. Isn't that funny how technology is one of those things? It's so nitpicky. All right. There we go. Okay. So here's what it is. So these tabs will be basically like this. Okay. So imagine like, I don't know, rows and rows of these. Now these tabs, um they're very finished. Okay, so this is just a mock-up, right? So this is just one option, right? Is we can do these like sort of rows of tabs. That's one option. The other one, and the one I'm leaning towards, is from the bottom here to make it to make a dimensional tree. And the tree will be made of yellow. Okay, so like the whole panel is yellow, like this is yellow. So um so yeah, yeah, Mary, yes. Like dragon scales, yes. Um Jerry, yes. Like fabric scale mail, yes. Okay. And so again, just rows and rows of of these that will basically cover like the petals all the way down. That's one option. Okay, is to do that. The other one is again have this sort of tree, and it will kind of come up and it will have branches and it will be very textural and dimensional. And then I can put little like flowers, like little small flowers on the tree. So it would be very if you were thinking in that same vein, it would be very Gondor, white tree looking. Okay. So we have the tree option, okay? And we have the tabs option. And so I'm interested in what you think. And I'll give you a little bit of a sense of why one might work versus the other. Okay. So the first one is I'm not sure how these tabs will lay on this piece where I have this slope, but also you have to remember, like, this is going to be up like this. All right. So let me sort of angle this so you can see, right? So like the tuffet part, like this is the top of the tuffet, and then there's the side, and there's going to be tabs that are going to be like either like half up and some down. So this would take a lot of um this would take a lot of planning to do those tabs correctly. Plus, I would need to make like a bajillion of them. Not that then I'm not willing to do it, right? But the other one would be this tree, and since the piece, could kind of lend itself to a tree that is like mostly on the side and then like the branches coming up the top. I don't know. Um I can use the kanzashi maker, yes, to make leaves for the tree, absolutely. So there's a lot of options with these. I'm I'm kind of leaning towards the tree. Uh but I'm leaning towards either one, right? And so, but these are the two that I have identified that that I'm going to do. Now, so then there's the other thing is that with the tabs, there's the opportunity to make tabs of different styles. Okay? And I did this on a different quilt, but see, I'm using all my scraps. This is what we do, right? We repurpose all of our scraps. Now, one of those options is to take some of the tabs and make them pointed. Okay? So it would be more like this. All right. And so then I would have like, a row of these like that, the rounded ones, and then a row of the pointed ones, and then a row of um squared off ones. And I mean, so there's an option there for the tabs to be very decorative, and be very different. Okay, so because it won't just be like these like tabs like that. Okay, it can be really It can get wild. And it can get wild pretty fast. But like I said, the placement, um, as much as I want to release scraps, I find ways. Yeah, so these fall under my category for saving. These are all I have a 2.5 inch limit. Okay. I don't save anything under 2 inches. So if it's like these are literal, these are all going in the garbage. Um, and I know there are people who are like, oh, don't. Um, I have to, like, this is trash. Now, that said, we have a garbage can in the in my studio here that just is for this stuff. And this kind of stuff goes into like stuffing like dog beds and things like that. So this is all still usable. We try not to just throw it in the trash, but it's too small for me to save. Um, this is that's about as small. So, but it's big enough for me to find something to do with. Okay, so there's this option to have you know different rows of these petals or tabs. And so I'm kind of playing around with that idea here, but I'm also playing around with the tree. And I just feel like the tree might be organic to go, because remember, there's 8 panels. So this is organic. This is sort of organic. This one is very organic. But then you have these other ones that are really structured. So this one's very structured. It's got that diamond shape. This one's very structured. It's very cross-linear. This one's very structured, also cross-linear. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh wait, where's my other one? Shoot! Oh, it's in the other room. It's the smocking. So, and that one's very structured. So I feel like I need one more kind of non-structured one. And the tabs would be very structured. Okay. The scrappy scraps go to dog beds, Tracy. I agree. That's where my scraps go. Now, again, if I do rows of these, they might be too linear, and that would go with the other ones that are linear, and then I don't know. Right? I really like the tab idea, but I would just use the rounded one. The thing is that if you did all of them as just the rounded ones, I don't know. It feels kind of bleh. Feels a little boring. I'm not sure. But that's not to say that this isn't like sort of uber repetitive, right? I mean, and the smocking one is super repetitive. So you kind of have to go with the flow, right? Um, see, these ones are already stitched to the foundation, so they just get sewn. Yeah, surprise camera. I tell you. Yes, I know you're awake. There we go. All right. So I mean, this is, it's not impossible to get this done by next week. But this has got, I've got a lot going on with this. So I don't know. I'm kind of feeling torn between the two ideas. Now, somebody might say, well, do all the tabs on the top and do the tree here. And then I would have the best of both worlds now, wouldn't I? um, perhaps. Perhaps. I don't know. Maybe I'll combine the two. It's still up in the air. Okay, so back to our little project here. Where did the needle go? Yeah. I swear, like I like to say, like if it was a snake, it would have bit me. My grandmother used to say that all the time. If it was a snake, it would have bit me. Anyway, so that's the panel, the last panel to go, and I'm a little excited about it because this project will finally be done after years. Like it's been years. And I'm sure that the Tuffet lady will be very excited that I will have gotten it done. And I'm also deciding still whether or not to put any anything in between the panels, like any kind of piping. So I'm still thinking about that one. I don't think I am, but right now, um, I was considering doing some piping, but I don't know. Probably will just get it done and then be done. Um, and then if I wanted to add anything else, I can just do a second tuffet. you know, like if you wanted to do again, just do a second tuffet. Now they do make a tuffet kit for like a pincushion tuffet, and it's like I don't know, it's pretty chunky. It's a tuffet that's a pincushion, and I thought, oh, that's a good idea. Um, so I could do this on a miniature scale, but yeah, I am pretty excited to get this project mostly done. Um, and like I said, it's got probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 more hours on this panel. And then I can take the other panels and get them, or get the last panel prepped. And then I'll be done. And I mean, I'm excited that I got that far. So we will see. We put up all new fixtures in the shop, so that was fun. We of course were like trying to make sure that we were doing that when there were no customers in the store. And then and luckily we did that. We did all of that work without anyone coming in. So that was convenient. But we still have too much stuff. So you got to help us with this make room sale we're doing just for today. It's not any, it expires tonight. So make room 15, get 15% off anything you've been looking for. Now's the time. Clear it out so we have room. And then that way we can uh put this new stuff out. We got all this new stuff in the other day, and it was this gigantic box, And all I could think of was like, oh God, where is all of that going to go? And I got to a point where I was really worried about it. It was like, oh no. um, but fingers crossed, it will all fit when we're ready. Yeah, it's just been kind of a nutty situation. To be such a small store. And then the gallery of quilts is going up in the shop this weekend. So on Sunday, when we are closed, Charlie and I are coming in and we are going to um, be able to get the gallery quilts hung, which is really exciting. And my quilt that was on the cover of Quilting Arts will be hanging, which is pretty exciting. So, and those are all of my Kirby Crackle quilts, my Kirby Crackle quilts that are based off of comic book art panels. And unlike Liechtenstein, I did not screen print them directly from someone else's art. I interpreted the panels out of a very tiny, small corners of various comic book pages and reinterpreted the bubble art that they were. So that's going to be on the walls here in the shop. So that's exciting. Oh, I'm down to, see, when you get down to this last little bit, like always just give yourself a new piece of thread. No one needs to sew down to the last little nub. I know you're all like, but Cheryl, there's still plenty of usable thread on that. It's totally fine. You can give yourself more room and not frustrate yourself by sewing down to the last little itty bitty nub by giving yourself a new piece of thread. It's okay. They're still making it. They're still making thread. You can do it. So, and so I can take that pin out now. And you can see here that this is sort of like sticking up. I will probably take a tack stitch here in the middle, and that will, and you can see now that it's laying quite flat comparatively to these other pieces. But I think we're really getting there with how this is going to look when it's done. And I don't know, I kind of like it. I like how it came out. This one is definitely warping because it's very bubbly in the middle. That one's going to need a stitch or two to keep it tacked down. So yeah. So yeah, we were on the news. That was the thing that did happen. I was on the news. We ended up getting a call from the local news station. Hey, can we come do an interview with you? I said, sure. When do you want to do it? And they said, how about 11:30? And I'm like, 11:30 today? Okay. So off I went. Now, luckily, I always do my hair and my makeup before I come to the office, but I just needed to go put on lipstick, and that was it. And we were ready. And Charlie was upset that a very small image of him is in one of the shots. Like he's in one of the shots. He's like, oh no, I don't want to be on the TV. But he was there. He was on one of the shots, and um, he was pretty happy about that. Not really. He was not happy about it at all. He did not want to be on camera. He says that's my job, and that's what I do. So I was fine with it. And, you know, it is what it is. But he didn't get on the he didn't want to be interviewed. So, but one of the B-roll shots was of him in the background. So he was a little like, "Ugh, why'd they have to use that one with me in it?" I will say too that he had a uh you know, he always makes sure that our shop looks really good when we, make sure that it's clean and swept, and so we didn't really have to do anything to the store to get ready for the TV interview. And this was so cool. Like right when they were here filming, this big group of ladies came in to shop right when they got there and set up. And so they asked if they were okay being on camera, and they got shots of the ladies shopping in the store. And I was like so excited because it looked like we were so full. um, so that was really neat, you know. We had like 5 ladies who came in, and if you've ever been in my store, it's tiny, and so 5 people makes it look like a giant crowd. And so, we even get, like, 5 or 6 people in our store, and it looks amazingly busy, so it's always kind of funny. But yeah, perfect timing is right. Uh Mary. It couldn't have worked out better. And of course they were all like, "Oh, we don't mind," So that was really neat. They were B-roll shopping in the store, and I thought that was really fun. So um we ended up having that little flurry of activity while the and I couldn't have asked for better, right? I mean, I will say that we haven't talked about the eclipse yet. Wow. We had totality. We had totality here in Paducah. And I have never been in a total eclipse before. I've been through plenty of partial eclipses, and I remember as a kid, our school, we all went outside and we built those boxes that you look through. Um, and so we did that, but I never like got to see a full total eclipse and like look at it with my eyeballs. Although we looked at it through the glasses until the totality. And then I will admit, I took my glasses off and looked at the total. Oh my gosh. You are not kidding, Brenda. It is going to be a madhouse, and I am so excited for it. Um Bring on the madhouse. We're so fully stocked. Mary never been in one either. Yeah, we've always just had the partial eclipses in like the Illinois area, and um it was incredible to looked at. Yeah, we were really just surprised at like how totality looked. And when we saw stars come out, and all of our street lights came on like that. When they say like, "Oh, it'll get dark," I mean, they're not kidding. It does get dark. um but you could you couldn't see the totality with the glasses on. Yeah, I couldn't either. So I took the glasses off and looked at it. So if I go blind, um, I will probably go on record as saying it was worth it. uh, you know, it was worth it. Um, I looked at totality, and I was okay with that. Um, I'm not saying that that's what I would recommend other people to do, but I looked at the totality. So, Anyway, okay, so we have one piece sewn on. Now, you're probably wondering, like, what am I going to do with this really long tail? Well, here's what I'm going to do with it. Chop. That's what I'm doing with it. And so that's it. And I will probably just go through all of this gather here just to secure it. Make sure it doesn't come unraveled. But that's it. That's all I'm doing. And there we go. Now, my dad did come in from Chicago to watch Totality here. And so that was pretty cool. Dad came to see it. Oh, Mary, I took as many pictures as I could. I didn't have a very good camera. I only had a phone camera, and I felt like the phone cameras really didn't do the eclipse any favors. And truly, like, other people were always going to end up taking a better picture than I would. But I think you got a really great picture, Mary. I didn't. Um, but I really enjoyed the eclipse. We had a big street festival here in Paducah. It was a big deal. We really did the event up right. So I was very happy with that. And then, as you can see, I'm just going to go in through the back here of this, and I'm going to come up through the middle and just tack it down in a couple places just to keep that from bubbling up. This is just so that I can keep my that center from creating any puckers by pulling. So if you're wondering why am I sewing it through the back, that's why. And just a couple of stay stitches there. Oh, you took your pictures with your phone. Yeah, I wish I had a better phone situation for that. But I did not. I was okay with it. Well, there we go. There's one. Not bad. One down, 3 to go. These won't take very long. As you can see, just getting them to stay down is the important part. And then, these extra pieces, who knows? We can always do something decorative with those. Turn this into a flower. Maybe this will be a flower for the tree. It is very pretty. I am enjoying the process. I do wish that I was nearly done. But I'm getting there, and it is going to be really cool when it's finished. So this is this panel, and here's what it will more look like. And then these pieces here, a little more organic than the other ones. But we've got one more left to do. I can't wait to see the finished product either. When you kind of get to the end and you're like super like, I just want it to be done. It's kind of where I'm at. But that doesn't mean that I need to rush through the end process, because I do have a habit of doing that. I will get to the end here and I'll be like, oh, I want it to be done. And then I'll just be like, go fast. And I shouldn't go fast. I should enjoy the ride, as I should enjoy the process. So anyway, that being said, we're at the end here. So next week there is going to be a show, and the week after, there won't be. That'll be quilt week, and we'll be too busy. So, so tune in next week. We should have the last panel. Um, Either we'll be working on it or I will put it together. I love trees. I know. I'm so torn. I'm very, very torn. But we will see. Trees or tabs, which one will win? Who will know? I will surprise you next week. All right, my friends, take care. I will see all of you. Have a happy weekend. Hopefully, you do some sewing, and I will see all of you next week. Take care. Bye bye.